Hey gang, Tony here. Super excited for this. I've been holding out because I really wanted to read through as much of the magazine as possible before I posted my review of Scream magazine. This is the first time I flipped through one of these. I gotta tell you, it's a very cool one. This is available at Barnes & Noble and Books A Million stores. So you can go right in and pick them up off the newsstand, or you can order it from the magazine themselves, and they do subscriptions and they ship worldwide and all that good stuff too. Cover price on there is $8.99 US. Take a look there, right there. And you could tell that I was excited about this one because I took notes. That's right. I was all like professional and stuff. Well, I wouldn't go that far. Professional doesn't really fit. But I took it seriously. So, alright. First thing I noticed when I had this in my hands was that it felt oversized in terms of the size of the actual size of the magazine. It felt big to me. And as I was going through it, so I'll kind of give you a look there. As I was going through it, I felt like the layout also seemed almost like it went to the very edge of the page. I don't know if I'm making any kind of sense right now, but it just felt like, look at that, like supersized. That's a better word. Not oversized, supersized. Look at how beautiful that is. Just to the margins. And I started thinking about it. I was like, wait a minute. So I grabbed I won't tell you what magazine this is, just because I don't want to. Okay, it's a Rue Morgue. The no copy of Rue Morgue. And I was like, let me see something, and I put the magazines next to each other, and it's not that Scream magazine feels supersized. It actually is supersized. It's just bigger. And didn't go crazy and measure it or anything, but yeah, it's a bigger layout, bigger magazine. So that was kind of cool. Glad that I wasn't losing my mind. And so that was part of my first impressions, my first flip through, that it had a nice supersized feel, and it's like jam-packed margin to margin, bright, vibrant colors. The magazine just pops, as you're flipping through. Whether it's an advertisement or one of their layouts that I was showing you, the fog there. They have a whole write-up of the fog. And then check out this Pool Party Massacre. Just pops, The colors they use, look at that. I really like it. I feel like, for me, magazines are, one way or another, they're kind of like a toilet read sometimes. You only have time to maybe read part of an article or a little bit, and I like that it pops like that. Alright, so some specs. I went through and I counted. There were 20 ads, and the pages from cover to cover about 76 pages. So 20 ads to the 76 pages, for the most part, seems about normal. I took the Rue Morgue and I did the same thing. I counted, and they had 28 ads for 98 pages. So it's about, on average, pretty normal, I guess. I was counting the advertisement on the back, as well as, the inside cover, which essentially is always ad space for the most part. That's never going to necessarily be anything but ad space on the cover pages like that. The writing is top-notch. I read through most of this magazine. The fog... actually, before I even talk about that, what I liked about this magazine as well was that they kind of give equal, page time to classics as well as, indie and, low budget and new stuff, old stuff. There's like a nice mix of everything. They don't seem to spend too much time on any one thing. So if you're looking at the table of contents, you'll notice that they have a really, the fog write-up is awesome. It was like 6 or 7 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 pages. Just a great write-up. A lot of background detail about the making of, some snippets of older interviews, some like little facts and things about the movie that maybe you didn't know about before. So they have like The Fog, but then they have something that is pretty low budget and hasn't come out yet, I don't think, The Pool Party Massacre. And it's just fun to like read the interview with the director and writer, because to hear his story about how the movie came about and the hiccups they had along the way and all that kind of stuff is very cool. And then they have review pages, so just flip over there, and they go through and do some pretty good short reviews. Here's the horror review section. This one had some good ones. They had the House collection from Arrow Video. They talked about that a little bit. So it's nice also that they're looking at not just, you know, new movies, but all new releases, whatever they may be. The Entity, a bunch of other stuff. Don't hang up. I'm not going to tell you everything that's in here. And what else was sticking out for me? So they have, this was especially interesting for me because I'm not a huge collector of VHS, but you guys know I'll pick it up every once in a while. I have a small collection. I go to the VHS convention, Severed Cinema, with Mr. Tony of the Dead. So they have VHS Ate My Brain on page 50 of this, which was a cool thing too. I want to flip to it so you can see it. Oh, that was not the right page. Page 20, I'm sorry, it was page 20. There it is. Pretty neat retrospective. Is that the right word for it? I'm going to pretend I know what I'm talking about. Retrospective. Good stuff there. Copyright warning trailers. So I was excited to see that they were... I wonder if this is a recurring... it seemed almost like a recurring segment, but I'm not entirely sure if it is. VHS hunting is becoming an increasingly trying endeavor these days. Online prices have skyrocketed in the last year or so, particularly for horror tapes, and you'll be hard-pushed to find a charity shop that still sells them. And it's, you know, it's just a really interesting read for me because I find the same sort of problem occurring around me. I talk about it all the time in my yard sale videos about video games and VHS too. Around here you could still find some stuff, but it is becoming harder and harder. The more people talk about things, the more people collect things, it's becoming just more in the consciousness of the public rather than a niche thing, you know? And more people do it. The resellers and the dealers kind of they start to realize that it's happening. They start, you know, hitting the prices up to check eBay and all that kind of crap. So very interesting article there. Got an article about The Shining. I mean, it's just incredible stuff in here. And I really don't want to spend too much time just showing you everything in there, but I recommend it. Take my word with a grain of salt if you want, realizing, of course, that this was a complimentary copy. But of the few magazines that I do read, and I pick up at least a couple every now and then. I don't subscribe to any, but, back with the Horror Block was giving out magazines, and I buy them at the conventions when I go, and I'll, every once in a while, order them. I don't have any bookstores around here anymore. Like, they were asking if I had a Barnes & Noble around here, because these sell in Barnes & Noble. I don't have a local Barnes & Noble. I have to go at least like 45 minutes away, I think, to hit a Barnes & Noble. It's getting kind of sad, you know? So, I think you should check it out. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this one, or if you have read Scream Magazine, what your thoughts are on it. Again, my favorite things about it are the layout, the way they lay the magazine out, the mix of different subject matter. They, like I said earlier, they really get their hands into classics, cult stuff, they even go into the VHS stuff, and new indie and new popular, whatever it is. Got some interviews in there reviews. Hit all the bases, you know? Alright, everybody. Check it out, Scream Magazine, Barnes & Noble's Books A Million, or subscribe through their website, screamhorrormag.com. I'll put all the links below in the description. I'll check you guys later. Breathe deep for the night. Bye.